Talk a little about this game. Like, how did the idea for this game come about?
It was me and Marcus. We've always been like prototyping games throughout our lives, basically, and we always jumped from project to project, like what was fun at the moment. And then me and Marcus, my brother, we're working with at Tarsha Studios since a long time. And then Gustav, our friend, came along to join the prototyping, basically. And we just chose one that we saw potential in. And with Marcus and Gustav being art-driven and art-focused, it went from being like an action prototype to what we're seeing now, where it's more of the atmospheric approach to the game.
Is it fair to call your game a survival horror game?
I think it's fair, but it has horror elements to it for sure. But it's mainly, I would say it's more of a Metroidvania where the exploration matters a lot. And you have a world filled with secrets and interesting characters, basically. And sure, it has horror elements.
Now, it's also a twin stick shooter. We talk about that because those are around, but you don't see a lot of them nowadays.
Yeah, I think we had more of an action game in the beginning, where it was not a straight twin stick action shooter, but it was more towards that. But now we found a mix of that gameplay, not to be used that much in these kind of more atmospheric games, and it just so happened basically that it felt unique, and it felt like we have something that separates us from other types of games, both in the horror or Metroidvania aspect and in the twin stick shooter aspect. So.
Can you talk about your relationship with Epic Games and what they provided in terms of tech and support to help make this game a reality?
When we were prototyping this game, and when we got to the point where, okay, we need someone to work with, we need to partner up with someone, we just looked for someone who understood our vision and trusted in our expertise to create this game. And Epic, since I would say the first meeting, they just gave us something else, and we felt that we could create a great collaboration with them, and that's just like it has been throughout. It's just been working really well for us.
Can you talk about some inspirations for like the game design and art style? Because a lot of people thought, oh, look like little nightmares with weapons.
Yeah, it's kind of fun that that is the first reaction of a lot of people, and I would say that's a great reaction, because it shows you that we have that atmosphere that people really liked with those kind of games. And I would say the main inspirations for the game first was classic titles as like Zelda and Metroid, like from back in the NES days. We really like that simplistic storytelling and focus on fun gameplay, and having worlds filled with secrets and interesting characters. Then the added atmosphere on top. That's the horror elements, or the creature design, as we talked about, is a lot of ways inspired by Alien and the Thing and those kind of old movies that we really enjoy. And there's also some anime elements, like from Ghost in the Shell, Akira, for example, that we're really fond of those kind of worlds, basically.
What's a big misconception from a consumer looking at game development in 2025?
I'm not really sure, but I think it could be that, it's easy to create a game. It takes usually a lot of hours and a lot of effort. You need to be passionate, and you need to create a team where you come together as a unity, basically, like you're really set on creating this great experience for people. For the players to play, and
What's it like working with your brother on the project?
It's awesome. He's my favorite artist, basically, and I keep telling him how great he is. And coming together with our own studio now, and together with Gustav, who is also a great friend of ours, it's a dream come true, basically. And we're just so happy to be here and soaking in all the positive words, basically.
Was this something you and your brother wanted to do growing up, was make video games?
I think so. It came step by step, kind of, because we've always been interested in games, and we fiddled around all the way back in the Amiga days, like with Amos and those kind of things. Or, well, that was probably Atari, but those software where you can create your own games, basically. But we never got to understand that, okay, we can actually create games, you know, like for real. And that came when we were a little bit older, like in our 20s. But sure, that is something that's always been part of our lives, basically.
What's a game you played growing up that had a major impact on your life?
I mean, my obvious thing is Zelda. Playing that when I was 7 years old and just typing in your name, like that's just been stuck in my mind since this. And Zelda's been throughout, like Ocarina of Time, and Metroid is another, like I told you before, is like one great inspiration. But there are so many games. Nintendo is something we're really fond of. But when the PlayStation era came up, I mean, you can see a little bit of Metal Gear Solid in our game as well, or Resident Evil even. I think, there are so many games that we're inspired by and just have the luxury to play throughout our lives, basically.
What advice would you give to future game developers in high school if they want to make their own game today?
I say you should look at trying to make your thing, and don't try to copy what other games are doing, even if how great they are. You should find your own unique little niche and work with that and make your thing special.
The most important question is, how did you get the eyeballs of a publisher on your game? Because I think that's the million-dollar question.
I think I am so lucky to work with two super talented individuals with great experience. And I mean, I can't give it all to them, but it's so important to have something that can, I mean, they're world class in the way that you can create, they can create a short clip of something and they will get their eyes on it. It can be a screenshot or just a little movie, and people will find this interesting. And if you're there, you're halfway there, I would say, because then people will notice and start asking you, what is this? And yeah.
And when does your game come out? What platforms are you aiming for at launch?
The game is launching on Epic Game Store, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series in 2026.
Any plans for Super Nintendo Switch? Nintendo Switch 2?
There aren't any plans at the moment, and we really like their platforms, and yeah, it would be super interesting, but we can share more if that comes up, yeah.